1, 2, 3.
Welcome again to Oregon Quilting. We have another exciting program, and we do have live people here today. Yay! That's right. All of you need to participate in our wonderful program. And we're going to be showing some things that people made, and we got a really interesting one to start off with challenge fabric. So Helen brought something really exciting and unusual that she's going to share. So Helen, show us what you brought. It is too cute.
Here is my little, it's supposed to be a bag, but I haven't put it on a bag yet. And I use some of the challenge fabrics.
Or it could be like just a wall hanging, just a little one with ribbon.
But I thought I would border it with one of the fabrics, and then
Okay.
well, see what I'm going to do.
See what you're going to do. So she's got little buttons. You see the little buttons?
And we're supposed to have yellow buttons around for the halo.
Oh,
So this is a button.
A button project.
Yes.
Yeah. And puffy sleeves. She's got puffy sleeves with a ribbon. That is just really darling. So, see, you don't have to quilt. You can take fabric and do crafts.
And you can iron it on.
Oh, yeah, iron it on with fusible.
Yes, yes.
Very cool.
Yes.
Very cool. Thank you so much. That's so And I've asked Helen to help. We have projects from Angela, and they're actually finished that she has started before.
Oh, flannel on the back.
Yeah, flannel. So this is the one.
Go up this
I
way,
need
Dora.
Helen because she's tall. So this is for Angela's secret
I'll hold it
sister.
like this. How's that?
Oh, thank you. Secret quilting sister, and she's not here today. She's been ill, but by the time the program airs, she will know who her secret quilting sister is. So it's got lovely flannel on the back. It feels so nice. And these were with the hearts. That's so cute. And it's just so cuddly. And then she just quilted straight across.
Yeah, that's neat.
The rows, yeah. And it was a when we were doing jelly roll.
Right.
So it was a jelly roll, what do they call it? Jelly roll chase. So you just start and you just sew them all together. So that's very nice and cuddly. And I happen to know who her secret sister is, and she's going to love it. Just love it. So thank you, Angela. And then we have her other project. And this you've seen in several stages, but now, which is, so she's got the piano key border, and all the embroidered frogs were done by Julie. And they are just so cute.
Oh, those are dark.
Aren't those darling? And this also has flannel on the back.
In her favorite color.
And her favorite color, yellow.
Yellow.
So,
Nice.
isn't that nice?
That's beautiful.
Yep, that's
Gorgeous.
a gift for a friend.
And I have not.
Can I be your friend?
Yeah. And I haven't put flannel on the back, but I really like it.
I do too. Oh,
And be
nice.
especially
Beautiful.
nice for children, or even in this kind of weather, winter weather.
Right.
It's going to feel good. So
That's so
those are just so cute.
They are.
So thank you, Angela. And thank you, Helen. I found a really quick, fast block to make. And so I made 3 different versions. They end up being an 18-inch block. So I have one here. And so the block is actually Oops, just, nope, to there. Okay, so it makes an 18-inch block. And so you can do it, I did 3 across and 4 down. So it goes really quickly. But the surprising thing is, then if you turn them different directions, they're going to look different. So this one has, every block is the same. It has the green, and then the purple. So every block is the same in this one. It's hard to see unless you look at the whole one. So for this over here, the difference is I reversed these, every other one across this part of the block. So in this row, the large block is surrounded by red, and then the next block is surrounded by the blue. So it just alternates all the way. So that makes that different. So we have 12-inch blocks and 6.5-inch blocks. And then these start out as 2 rectangles. And so I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But we have one more version that I'd like to share. So I'm going to ask Helen to help me. So this is this exact same block, only I turned every other one the opposite direction. So this is your block right here. And I have the small square at the top. And then the next time I have it the opposite at the bottom. And so it just alternates. So it's the same block, same pattern, but looks totally different. And there are lots of other ways you can mix it up. But I thought it's quick, it's easy, it's fun. And hopefully, by next month, they will be quilted. And they will be hanging in a quilt show. So the quilt show information is on the website, and it's also on Facebook. So it's Valentine's Day, so some of you will see the program before, and some of you won't view this till afterwards. But Valentine's Day here at Taylor's Ferry Road at the church, and it's 10 o'clock until 4:30, and there's no admission charge. It's all free. So you can come and see. Hopefully I will have these quilted. So thank you. So I will show you how to put the block together. Okay, so these are 12.5-inch squares. And then you have 6.5-inch, which are the small ones. Then, to make the angled ones, they're 7 by 13, but you'll be cutting them down when you put your block together. So, important, right sides up. Here's looking at you, but both of them are that way. They're not face to face or back to back. Both of them are up. Right sides up. And then we're going to measure. With a pen, which I don't have. So we're going to be measuring in 2.5 inches from each side. My mat isn't quite big enough. So 2.5, and we're going to put a mark, and I'll just put a little snip because I don't have a pen. And then from the other side, you're going to do 2.5 inches. And I'll put a little mark there. use a pen so you can see what you're doing. And then you need a longer ruler than I have. So we'll use 2. And then you're just going to cut with your rotary cutter. Since my mat is not quite big enough, I'll have to use the scissors at the end here. So you do 24 of these. So you've got 12 of each one. And then you're going to be sewing them together, but so that you don't sew the same color to the same color. If you lay them all down and just take the top one and put it on the bottom of your pile, why then when they're all cut, you can just stack them up, and then we're going to sew. And remember last month I said, when you do this at home, sit down in a chair. So if you pick them up, because you're going to be sewing the diagonals together, so they're not going to look like they go together. And you leave the little 1/4 inch, the top, and then you're going to have one at the bottom. So it looks strange when you're ready to sew. It looks like it's not going to work. But it does. Then we'll just pick up the next pair. And once again, they look a little weird. But we know that in quilting, sometimes things look really weird. And then when you finish and get it together, you go, oh, that was so easy. I can't remember which button to push. Okay. So you can chain stitch. It's what we call chain stitching. Just all of them, and then you have a long row. And then we'll take them to the iron. And we're going to press them. I think for the easiest, the best thing to do if you use yellow is to iron them to the dark side, if you've got white or a really light one. Otherwise, sometimes I do them so all the seams will be going down. So if you put the yellow side down, and then if you just turn it, while you'll be pressing to the dark side. So we have one. So have your dark on top and the light on the bottom. And then when you press, the seam is going to be correct. Now, they may not come out even. You see that? It's not even on that end. So you just simply go to your cutting mat and you take your ruler. It usually works if you put, one end on the straight. And then we're going to trim them. So now we can make a block. So the easiest thing to do, well, you need to decide what kind of a pattern you want. But if we make all of them the same, and you can kind of look first and decide if you want the yellow to be against them, we'll audition them here. me do it so that the block is on the, this is facing me, I should have it facing you. No, this way, okay. So that would be one way to do your block. Or it's going to look totally different if you turn it with the green. So it just depends if you really want it to pop when you do it. And I'm not a yellow person, so I'm using yellow. And I also have yellow and green. I bleed orange and black for the beavers, but we're very proud of the Oregon Ducks. And they went all the way to the national championship and played. And so for between the Rose Bowl and then the national championship, I'm a Duck fan. But the rest of the year, I'm a beaver. So I think we'll do, even though I like the green with it, we'll do the yellow to make it really pop. Now there are two ways you can sew the block together. You can either sew these two together and these two together, or you can sew these two together and then these two together. And I think that's what we'll do. Now, it's easier if you have a part with no seams on the bottom looking up at you, because that way you can control your seam. And it doesn't get all clogged up and go all twisted around in the bottom of your machine. And it does that to me sometimes. So if it does it to you, I have my trusty seam ripper, which is orange and black. Thank you very much. And I can always take it out and fix it, that's right. So, okay. And then we're going to sew this one on there. But we need to, it's hanging over a little bit, so we'll square it up. Now the easiest way is if you have your big mat and you have a 12.5-inch square up ruler, which would be like this, only 12.5 inches. But I don't have that with me. So if you don't have it, you just do something different. So we'll trim off this. So we'll once again put it at a line, so it's on the line. And the other's off just a little bit. So now, let's see. We're putting the yellow. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. So we want it to come out this way. So we're going to turn it this way to sew it. So now we're going to press. This time I am going to press it toward the yellow so that the seams then will all be going down, which makes it much easier when you're sewing your whole strips together. And I do use steam. Some quilters don't, because you can distort. If you press too hard and go around like this as you're trying to iron, you can distort your seam. But if you're right on it and go with the seam, Well, I think it makes it much crisper if you use the steam. So now we'll press this, and this will be going this way. Now there are two ways to do this. If you want all your seams going down, then you're going to do it down. But if on these shorter pieces, if you have it go up, then when you put your block together, one will go down, one will go up, and they fit together. So I think what we'll do is, the other went down, we'll do this up. It isn't exactly perfect. I don't know if you can see. So if I look at my seam, I discover, which I don't think you can see it. Maybe you can. It's not 1/4 of an inch, because I started here at 1/4 of an inch and then I went. So what I'm going to do is start again and go 1/4 of an inch all across. And that will help make it straight. And sometimes we don't realize that just the thread distance can make it off. So maybe you can see from the green side. There are two seams. I don't know if you can see that or not. So the first one was too narrow. So now it took care of that little problem that I had. So we want it to end up being like this. So we're going to have to do it backwards here. Now, in case they don't match, the important part of the block is going to be this seam right here. So if you match that up and the edge, why then it looks like it's not going to work. But we can trim it. So if you make this seam, make sure that this seam matches. Okay. There's your block. So if you have all your pieces cut and all of them laid out, then you just chain stitch these together, and then everything's just all ready to go, and you can do it quickly. And also, if you have to stop partway through, it's not too confusing. And if by chance you should get these going the wrong direction, if we look right over here, it doesn't matter. Because if you get one going wrong, you just do half of them wrong, like you did the first one, and then you can make a pattern like this. See, quilters are creative. We don't make mistakes. We create new blocks, new designs. If you're really a perfectionist like I used to be, you'd rip it out. But I grew up. And now I don't have to be perfect anymore. So we'll press this. And often I just press it the way it seems to fall. And this sort of, it looks like it's going this way. So that's the way we'll do it. Now I would wait until I have all my blocks made and then measure and find the shortest one and then trim all the others to that size, because you see that often your rectangle is going to be longer. But as long as you've put your seam together here, it even matches. This one I can show you, they do not always match. They don't have to match. Why, then you just measure and find the shortest of your blocks. And I think most of mine ended up being 17 3/4 for one quilt, and one was 18 1/4. So there can be a difference depending if you're sewing at midnight or if you're sewing like maybe in the middle of the afternoon while you're watching some dumb program on television. If you can't find Oregon quilting, why then often there aren't a lot of good choices out there, unless you have the History Channel, or community television has lots of interesting programs. So that's our block for today, and I thank you for watching us, and join us next time on Oregon Quilting.
1, 2, 3.